People, welcome to the official YouTube music review podcast powered by Radio Pushes and the Blaze 88.7 XM Miami. And we're honored to have the multi-platinum entrepreneur and major recording artist, I am Syfy-X, on the show today. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis, and on today's episode, we're going to break down his latest video release in every detail. We'll discover the vision behind the visual. We're going to discover the meaning of the lyrics. We'll examine the visual impact in music. And lastly, we're going to highlight the creative genius of I am Syfy-X and his passion for the music business. So I am Syfy-X. Welcome to the show, man. How you been?
I've been good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. It's not raining here where I'm at right now, so because we had some bad, rainstorms here yesterday. So I'm glad everything is good. So we're gonna jump right into it. So your latest music video entitled "Free Smoke." Elaborate a little bit on the meaning behind the title "Free Smoke."
Free Smoke, it was just one of them songs that I made. I was loving the beat, and I actually wrote that song in like about 10 minutes.
Really?
It was just, yes, it was just something about the beat, and I was just, just writing to it. And then I didn't have no title for it, so I just did the Free Smoke.
Right. I mean, when I listened to the song and it seemed very, very personal. And a lot of times in music, we want to tell our own stories. We want to tell, our own personal growth through triumph and pain and everything else. And that was one of the things that I got from the video. The video was very intimate. We're going to get into that in just a second. Now, let's discuss as far as the vision behind Free Smoke and explain the mindset and the creative process in making it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, when I wrote it, it was just a vibe that I got from the beat. But every
Mhm.
time I write a song, I always try to put a story into it. So, everything that I said in the song was true, but
Right.
that was like one of the songs that it really, like, I really had no vision. It was just a beat that was just really taking me through it. And,
Right.
it was some things that pretty much what I wrote was what I was thinking about pretty much. And it was just coming out.
Right. I mean, because one of the things that popped out when I heard it, when you were talking about growing up in North Carolina, you know what I mean? You had mentioned something about your grandmother and stuff like that. So that, that really brought me in as far as, okay, this is really, really deep. You know what I mean? And that was going to be, you
Yeah.
kind of answered the question in regards to the lyrical content, in regards to the meaning and the impact of the lyrics, but you definitely answered that question. So I want you to break down to our audience, the mental approach to creating music, which ultimately reflects in your future legacy.
Well, when I write a song, I obviously have a story to tell behind it.
Right.
Um, I have I have like 5 notebooks full of songs, things that I
Really?
just write. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, I had made a promise to myself that I'll start writing at least a song a day.
Right.
You know, and it keeps me going. It tightens up on my skills as a songwriter.
Right.
And from a kid from North Carolina, I just like seen a lot, been through
Hmm.
a lot,
Right.
witnessed a lot with my stories, or I've seen somebody going through something. So like every time I
Right.
write something, I just want people to feel like I've been through that, or I know somebody that's going through that, or I'm going through that now. And you know, just when I write something, I like people just to feel it.
Right. And I mean, and I'm the same way. I've been a recording artist now for 6 years, and one of the things that I've always talked about was I want to be as authentic as I possibly can, and I don't want to fabricate anything about my life. You know what I mean? And I look at the
Right.
storytellers in hip hop, for example. When I think about the Notorious B.I.G. and a lot of the stories that he was telling, even Slick Rick, you know what I mean, and storyteller, you know what I mean. I think when we tell stories that are real and authentic, that's going to really allow fans to kind of have a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak, and saying, wow, I can relate to that. And I think the more relatability we have in our music, the better off I think it's going to be, because we need artists like you, that's telling these type of stories. And I was going to ask, in growing up in a kid, you talk about being a kid from North Carolina. Who was your influence musically in regards to getting into hip hop and getting into music and everything? Who was your influence? Who were some of your influences?
My biggest influence was Jay-Z when he dropped Reasonable Doubt. I was
Mm,
8 years
yes.
old, and that really
Wow.
that really made me start writing. My uncle, he's like the neighborhood barber, so he used to cut hair,
Hmm.
and he used to play music all the time,
Hmm.
and I used to see how the music used to just move people, and people could tell a story about what they were doing their time of life when this song dropped and things in
Right.
that nature. So music has always been really close to me. But like listening to Jay-Z, like you said, Notorious,
Hmm.
um, Nas, like I listen to. I'm very virtual and when it comes to music, like versatile, but my
Hmm.
top artists always been storytellers, like J. Cole, Nas, Biggie,
Right.
Tupac. You had Slick Rick. I always like storytellers and something that I can feel.
Indeed. You mentioned J. Cole, another Carolina guy, right? So,
Yes.
I mean, and you mentioned it was crazy. You mentioned Nas, Biggie, Pac, and Jay Z. And I remember it. And think about that in '96, right? Pac had dropped what
Right.
he dropped the double album, All Eyes on Me, then the Machiavelli album after he died. But then Biggie was working on the Life After Death album. Nas had dropped It Was Written that
Yeah.
year. It was written that in '96, and then Reasonable Doubt came out in '96. So think about really four iconic albums. I mean, from four iconic hip hop artists came out that same year, and they all have the same commonality of telling stories. Because again, that's what drew me into Biggie Smalls when Biggie's first album dropped. And one of the things that I enjoyed about it when even when he did Juicy, it was his struggle, his struggle on the come up, and you felt that. And that's what I felt about Free Smoke when I heard it. And that's going to lead me to my next question is when people watch Free Smoke, the music video, for the very first time, what message do you want them to receive from the video? So how do you want them to internalize it and to kind of sum up in their own head of what they're going to get out of the video?
The Free Smoke video, I was actually in the studio session,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy also shooting videos as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we was talking about it, and I was like, I got to start putting out more visual videos and
Right.
stuff. So when I did Free Smoke, of course, I was talking about, like you said, my grandma in the song, being an
Yeah.
independent artist, owning my own masters, stuff like that nature. So the message
Absolutely.
I was saying in the song, I we just blacked out the whole studio. I did it in the studio. We blacked out
Mm-hmm.
the
I
whole
saw that.
studio. We
Right.
put lights in there because my visual
Mm-hmm.
was I don't want to give a visual that's take away from what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And
So it
that's
was just
exactly
like,
what I took from it. Right.
mhm,
That's what I was gonna say. Like the one thing I took from it is there could have been so many elements. You could have been in your neighborhood and filmed it. You could have been there could have been a multitude of different ideas visually that you could have done with the song. I think the song is great. But I think what drew me into the video myself as a viewer was the fact that you were was an intimate setting as a studio,
mhm,
and you're really getting to see you in your element in the studio. And you have when you have the computer behind you and you got all your vocals and everything
yeah,
written on there. I saw that and I'm just like, yeah. I said, and it brings me back to when I'm in the studio laying down vocals and stuff, and that was inspiring because I'm like, we need to see a little bit more of that. And I think the motif of the video matches the lyrical content of the song.
yeah.
Very intimate, very real. You know what I'm saying? And that was what I enjoyed about it. And I hope that everybody, that's watching this podcast right now, really go out of your way to watch this music video. And that was going to lead me to my next question: was where is the video available now for streaming?
YouTube. It's on YouTube as well right now. I'm waiting on it to get uploaded to Apple Music and Tidal, but as far as right now, just on YouTube.
Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to look up the music video by Syfy-X entitled "Free Smoke" on YouTube, and leave a comment, like it, and you can also to subscribe to his channel as well. And that's what I was gonna, and leading me to my next question. Where can they find you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and they can connect with you in real time on social media?
TikTok is Syfy-X, and Instagram is I am Syfy-X, and on Facebook it's Willie Faulkner.
Okay. And another question before the last one is the music industry, and this is very, very near and dear to me as well. But it's one of the hardest industries to break into and thrive and survive at the same time. Why do you bet on yourself so much?
So if there's anything I'm gonna bet on, it's gonna be myself first and foremost, because I know my what I'm capable of and my determination. And when I do it, I do it from the heart. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it for the clout. I'm not doing it for money. Of course, I want to get paid for my work, but I
Absolutely,
do it
yeah.
from the heart. Yeah, so it's like 100% organic to me.
And that's a good thing, man. And I'm the same way when it comes to music. A lot of times, and people have different reasons of why they do certain things, right? But to your
Mhm.
point, if you're really passionate about something, or if you really want something really bad and you really want to perfect your art and you're going to go out of your way to perfect your art, all the other stuff's going to come naturally and organically. You know what I mean?
Right,
But if your end game is to just, well, I want it for just the fame and money and all that, eventually that all goes away, right?
right,
It's all about the lasting legacy that we want to leave, you know what I'm saying? And where people, you can influence another artist from North Carolina, anywhere in your region or around the country, around the world. Think about,
right.
I never forget, when I saw this movie called The Show. It was a hip hop documentary that came out in 1995. And Wu-Tang Clan was in it because Wu-Tang had been out at this point maybe 2 years, and they were on tour in Japan. I could not believe that there were people outside of the United States, and I was a teenager at the time, that were rapping lyrics to Wu-Tang Clan, and I was like, oh, they have a global fan base. So these
Hmm.
guys from the streets of Staten Island, New York, have a following globally, and that just let me know that hip hop was here to stay because of the global impact that it has. But the last question I have today for you is, what have you enjoyed most about being on the Radio Pushes and Music Magazine Visual Podcast today?
It feel like a family based business. They're not out for money, and you can tell that when you talk to. Shout out to Jonathan and Patience J. It's
Absolutely.
everything is organic. If you call them and even if they're busy, you'll get a text right there, making sure you're okay,
Absolutely.
you don't need anything,
Indeed.
and they check back
Mhm.
in with you. So it feels like a family more than a business. And with that being said, it's more comfortable working with them, and I love radio pushers.
I love them, and I love them too, man. Like I said, they've definitely changed my life for the better. Being having the opportunity to not only um, allow me to have my music out there, but being able to do this interview with you today. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that the Millennial General Jonathan P. Wright and Patience J had in me to interview you. I'm honored to have you as basically my first guest today. But again, it's an honor truly having you on and having you a member of the Radio Pushes and Music Magazine Empire family. And your voice is recognized and your movement is now activated. Okay. Make sure you follow Radio Pushers on Instagram at Radio Pushers, at Radio Pushers TV, RNH Magazine, The Blaze 88.7 XM, all on Instagram, and the new dream team in music monetization and branding. And once again, give them your Instagram, your all your social media once again.
Instagram is I am Syfy-X, TikTok is Syfy-X, and Facebook is Willie Faulkner.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. Well, again, once again, thank you for tuning into the podcast today. Everyone, you can connect with me at the real DT Lou, and don't forget to always, always, always dream, hustle, win. Take care, guys.